Oh,
Yep,
let's see.
you're
It says
live.
starting live video, and Brian says we're live. Hallelujah. Okay, I am Amy Hahn, and this is Gardening Tips Live. I'm a Knox County Master Gardener, and I'm joined by my friends and fellow Master Gardeners, um, Lee Cheek, um,
Morning.
Brian Townsend, and Toby Johnson. And no,
Margot.
and Margot, yes.
No Toby this week,
No
unfortunately.
Toby. Oh, you
Right.
know what? I'm looking at the video from last week. I am sorry, I'm a little bit zoned out today. Okay, I'm pinning us to featured so you all can find us. Okay, I'm pinning. Oh, okay. It's morning and I'm gonna do at everyone so that folks can hopefully find us. And we're a little bit late today. We're doing a new way of starting the stream so that it's actually in the Facebook group. Um, and it's lovely. Um, I will tell you, what is it? When it was, I got these notifications that someone had commented on a bunch of our old videos, and it was someone saying, it was a guy saying, I like what you do, and please, um,
Oh no.
I don't want to send you a friend request without you, you know.
Oh, he was doing that to me too. Oh my
I
God.
know it looks like he sent them to everyone who was on the stream,
Yep. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
but he is not in the gardening tips group. So we were having to put it on my personal um, Facebook stuff. And my personal profile, I do let people post into that. And so now that we're streaming in the group, it'll be only people who have what is it,
Mission.
participation permissions in the group who can post. So he shouldn't be able to do that anymore. Oh gosh, we have a lot of folks watching. If you are joining us live, feel free to put questions or comments in the comments, and we will do our best to answer any questions you have. And you can either click into the video or put your comments at the bottom of this post. So that'll work. And we will be live until 10 o'clock. Let me get my screen set up like I need to. Live until 10 o'clock. And I get to hear myself again. Um, Everyone has their, oh, hi, Judy. Glad you can join us. And I think I've got everything set up like I want to. And I hide my bookmarks when we do the photos because it takes up screen space and makes the pictures smaller. It's not because I have any bookmarks that I would be afraid of any of you seeing. It's just that it takes up screen space. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then you all can see. Lee's photos are going to be the first ones we're going to look at. So let me get this going. There we go.
So we're going to be talking about fall and fall planting this today. And so this is looking lovely in the summer. But the coleus and the petunias will go away when it frosts. And
Mhm.
so I usually plant um, uh, pansies or some sort of violet family. But the angelica, the bright green plant that's coming over the edge,
This
that'll
one
stay.
here.
Yeah, that'll stay. That's a nice perennial.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, got to be planting that for fall. And
Mhm.
then last week we talked about our brown-eyed Susan that fell over. So I chopped it off And as you can see, it's giving me a nice flush of growth still,
Mhm.
and it's much more stable. And then what I got, did we have a picture? The next picture, yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's doing fairly well. One more picture, I think. And so, well, I guess I didn't take the picture of the, I made a bouquet out of what I
Oh,
chopped off.
yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, yeah, and so so my Cosmos is doing well. And it's having lots of fun. And one of the nice things about Cosmos is it will reseed itself. And
Mm.
and so you know, next year I'll get another nice annual that'll bloom. But then, you know, fall flowers, you know, I've got many perennials that are in there that'll stay green all winter long. They not unless you plant pansies. That's about the only thing that will bloom in the winter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always plant some pansies just because
Yes, they make me
they're
happy.
so nice.
They make me so happy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my uh um uh, s- s- world sunflowers are blooming. This is a native that was endangered in
Mm.
2014, but I don't think it's a problem in my yard. As if anything, it's invasive. It's got spaghetti
Yeah.
roots going everywhere. Uh,
Mm.
you know, so, you know, be careful if you ever plant it. It's one of those
Yeah.
that will take up the whole field. And, you know, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing for a home garden.
It was a pasture plant or a
Yes,
garden
yes.
plant.
And then these are our zinnias that reseeded themselves from last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was very nice of them.
Mm.
And then this is a spiderwort that's still blooming.
Hmm.
I'm amazed at that.
Yeah.
Usually they're giving up. Onto the weeds. So this is pokeweed. And so it's starting to flower, and
Hmm.
that means it's going to seed. Now, you've got some problems with pokeweed, and that is if you have dogs or kids and it starts to produce berries, those berries are considered poisonous.
Hmm.
And so you definitely want to, one, because it's a weed, cut it back so that it's not blooming. And second is, you know, you don't want it producing seeds if you've got little ones around.
Yeah. I mean, if you do have a space where it's safe for you to leave it, it
Mm-hmm.
is an important wildlife plant.
It is, and it's a
So
native.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's
yeah,
one of those.
yeah.
Okay, I thought
And
on
then this,
the pokeweed, poke salad,
yeah,
uh, the leaves, except for the newest ones, right? The older leaves are toxic also.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. And poke salad, you do have to prepare it right.
right. Yeah, you've got to boil it. Yeah, yeah.
two
Mhm.
boilings.
Yeah, and this is it brand new coming up, the pokeweed. So this is you want to get it
Mhm.
early. Here it is.
Yeah. And it's like all plants. It is hard to tell what it is from a picture,
Yes.
but once you know it in person, it's
Uh-huh.
really easy to identify.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Now this is a Virginia three seed and it's starting to I pull it out by the roots.
Hmm.
And but especially I want to chop it off because it's starting to go to seed too. And you
Yeah.
don't want those things going to seed if you don't want a lot of extra weeds in your garden.
Yeah, those ones produce, I think they're related to pigweed, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they're pretty easy to pull
Mm-hmm.
when they're, fairly young and actually even pretty big. They don't do huge deep root systems like
Mm-hmm.
some plants.
Yeah.
They're much easier to pull than pokeweed.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, pokeweed does a big taproot type thing.
It does, and
Yeah.
I've cut it close to the ground, and it's still
Hmm.
come back. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that root will overwinter of the
yeah.
pokeweed. This one, the Virginia three seed.
Three seed. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's got some other common names too, but oh, is it three-seeded Mercury is one of its?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is.
okay. So it's fast. It grows fast, but it doesn't do a huge root system, so it's pretty easy to pull.
Hmm.
Yeah. The poke is like pulling a carrot,
Uh-huh.
but then it gets bigger than a carrot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, now we're into my photos. Okay, so I do try to be pretty transparent about my garden. This is what my tomato plants are looking like now. I have this bottom half that's gotten hit with early blight, and I'm actually pretty sure I've got some septorial leaf spot. This plant's totally gone, but you can see these other plants have a whole nother life coming in now that our weather's moderated a little bit. And they've got lots of fruit on them. They're making new fruit up here. Probably the end of this month, I will nip off any new flowers they make because it does take them a while to go from flower to a mature fruit. So I won't have so many tiny green fruits. They'll put their energy into finishing the other ones. But so this is a pretty common look for my tomato plants this time of year. Some people are better gardeners than I am, and they diligently remove all these leaves that were yellowed earlier in the season. And so they have really clean, bare stems, and that is the best practice. Um, these are well, it's actually four plants that are looking good are actually hybrids that have a lot of disease resistance. They're early girl and big beef. The one that died is a lovely tasting heirloom called Thornburn's Terracotta that I grow because I love the flavor. And on this end is an heirloom it's called, what is it called? It's a golden Jubilee. Um, or just some people just call it Jubilee. And it's supposed to be able to set fruit in the heat. And I will have to say, at least from the seed supplier I've gotten my seed from, it really hasn't proven out to do that. It hasn't done any better than the big beef and the early girl. So the fruit are fine. They're a little bit milder, a tomato flavor than I prefer. So I might just drop that one from what I'm growing and look for something else that's, I like to plant a tomato that's heat adapted, that'll set fruit even when we're in the 90s. And this one isn't proving out to be that, though it was advertised as being that. So we'll see what happens. This is my cucumber, and it is coming back to life. It has lots of young fruit that look really good, even though it's got a really bad case of downy mildew. And I was considering last week, we were talking about, pull things out when they stop being productive. But then I looked at it this week, and can you see all these new fruit coming? Look at these.
Aw,
It's like it's coming back to life, and it's got like 4 or 5 cucumbers that I'm going to pick tomorrow on it right now. And so it gets another week. And so I'll be looking at it week to week, and if it really does stop producing, um, and this is like, I think this is 2 to 3 plants in the same. Oh, Judy, yours are doing about the same. Yeah. So the weather coming down from the 90s to the 80s, the plants are appreciating that.
it's giving everybody a breath more of life.
Yes. The other thing is I got the air conditioner fixed on my car finally, but that's a whole nother ballgame. Okay, so people have been talking about seeing these guys and what they turn into. Um, this is squash bug eggs, and I planted my squash late, so I wasn't dealing with them until later than a lot of folks were. But I have smashed or pulled off. Sometimes I'll just pull off the tip of the leaf and drop it on the ground. Because if it's on the ground beetles will eat those eggs and they'll never get to mature. Um, but these are squash bug eggs. Squash bugs are one of the two major pests of squash plants. Squash bugs will suck the life out of your plant. It won't kill it overnight. Our other pest that's really common, and part of why I did a late planting is the squash vine borer. They don't seem to be as active when you do a later planting. We'll see what happens. I haven't planted squash that are vulnerable to the vine borers. There are some species of squash that the vine borers don't attack. And so I haven't planted those in a few years. So I can't tell you. Um, okay, and there's no one around me that's growing squash. So what can happen is if you don't grow a species for a couple years, that pest will die out close to you and it has a harder time finding you. So that might be what I'm seeing this year. If you live
And
in a,
back,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say back briefly to the squash bug eggs. You have to rogue underneath the leaves of the squash
Yes.
plants too. We were using duct tape wrapped around our fingers to pull it
Hmm.
off,
Yeah,
and
that
that
works too. Yeah. And they'll usually on the underside, they'll lay them like right under there, where the vein hits. So it's really hard to get the ones that are laid right up against the vein because
yeah.
there's a bump there. So those eggs are hard to get. But prevention is the best um, remedy for the squash bugs because they are hard to kill. Um, and oftentimes I'll take a container of water with a little bit of soap in it, and if I see an adult, I'll actually grab it and throw it in the bucket. Some people, you know, they are they're fast, but they don't usually fly away, and so you can get them. Now, the squash vine borer, what you'll see with them is overnight, your plant will go from looking lush and beautiful to just every leaf drooping because they've eaten the insides of the vine of your squash vine out. And so that really can kill it overnight. Some people have luck with doing surgery. They'll do what is it, a vertical cut and actually find that vine borer. It's a caterpillar and it's a white one. Um, and they'll kill it and then they'll put that stem back together, cover it with dirt, and sometimes the squash plant will recover. Okay, so there's my squash plant, and it's got a lot of fruit. There's some of that three-seeded mercury there that I should get out. I'm going to zoom in because with you weren't able to see. I've got two different things to those. That's the three-seeded mercury with the light green, and then this is actually lamb's quarter,
Yeah,
which I let grow and I actually harvest for as an edible green.
correct. Yeah. But you
Yeah,
got to make sure you harvest it when it's young.
yeah,
Uh,
or it
yeah,
gets a little tough.
yeah.
It's not
And bitter.
dangerous like pokeweed, but it
No.
just gets tough.
Yeah.
And it's not pleasant to eat. Yeah, the young leaves are really nice. And if you are going to look into,
And the Indians
and
used to eat them. Yeah.
yeah, if you are looking into eating any weeds or anything like that, make sure you have positive identification from someone who knows what they are. Because, there are plants out there that are poisonous. Usually they're not going to kill you, but you don't want to take chances on edible what you're going to eat. So make sure you have a positive identification. That's even more important with mushrooms. You know,
Oh,
you absolutely want a positive identification on mushrooms by someone who knows their stuff, because there are mushrooms that can really damage your health long term. And they do kill a certain number of people a year who eat them. There are edible mushrooms that are wonderful, but make sure you have positive identification when you're eating anything you're foraging, which that means something you didn't plant yourself. Okay, let's see. Oh, I've talked about before that almost all my pepper plants I planted died due to gardener error. I didn't get out and water when they needed to be watered when they were first planted. This is one of the 3 plants that survived, and I'm gonna get some Italian frying peppers this year. I think you can see there's some in here, there's one up here, and then there's some coming. So I'm excited about that. I probably won't have any for the freezer. I'll have to take advantage of the farmer's market on that, but I'll have some to eat. Okay, this is my fig that's in a pot, and this is the ripe fig. So if you have figs, you can grow them in containers. You can see this is called my yard care garage. And when the weather gets under 25, I will drag this container into the yard care garage to give it some protection, because it really isn't, figs really can't, in a container, can't take really low temperatures.
I
In the
was gonna,
ground, go ahead.
I was going to take a photo and I didn't get it done of a fig that I bought that was sold to be a container fig.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Figamental. It's a new one. And
Yeah.
it's getting as big, close to, as my yard planted fig bushes.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what kind of container they thought that would be for,
Yeah.
but I anticipated a fairly small growing fig. And it's
Yeah.
interesting to watch how big these things get.
Oh, figs will get big, but they do well in containers. You just have to prune them more.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because well, you'll see a picture later of the bush that's in the ground that's related to this one. This one is in a 10-gallon fabric pot. So, and I do find things that are a little more flexible in fabric pots than in hard-sided containers. But this one, I probably haven't treated well, and I have not fertilized it. I haven't fertilized it in a long time. So, I've given it very moderate fertility. And so what you might be seeing is it might be in a mix that's a little bit more fertile than you really want it to be. So
No
you're getting a
doubt.
lot of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I took a fruit tree pruning workshop from Dr. Lockwood, and he said, on your fruit trees, if they are expanding by a foot a year, you don't need to fertilize. Well, my pear tree out there grows 3 to 5 feet a year, and so I will probably never need to fertilize it by his measure. And Dr. Lockwood he's retired now. I think he does come back and consult with Extension, but was the fruit tree specialist for Tennessee and Georgia for a long time. And he actually grew up on a fruit orchard. That was what his family did.
And you
So,
can find a lot of his extension publications still,
oh
and they're
yeah.
all very valuable.
Yeah, there's a lot of publications by Dr. Lockwood. Um, but that's what he said. So if a fruit tree or, a container fruit is growing more than that, I would think about, really limiting fertilizing. Okay, this is my cucumber that I'm going to save for seed, and I think I'm going to take it next week. It's turning yellow, which is a sign of maturity for cucumbers. It's over a foot long. These spaces here are 6 inches. So yeah, it's well over a foot long, and I should have mature seed in there. So we'll see what my cucumber breeding experiment does. This is a Tabasco pepper that I've kept for several years. You can overwinter peppers inside. I think this is 3 or 4 years old. But I noticed today I am having some pest pressure on it. Um, can you see something has eaten my Tabasco pepper there? I'm pretty sure it's a bird. Birds really like hot peppers. They can't, well, no, nothing else will eat them, and they can't taste the capsaicin. Birds don't have the receptors to taste capsaicin, which is excuse me, which is the heat in peppers. So I will probably bring this plant to the fair this year. So we were going to mention the fair. Tennessee Valley Fair is what is it? I guess it's the first full week in September every year. It's 10 days in September, so it runs Friday to the next Sunday. And there are a lot of really cool competitions you can enter in the fair, for fruits, vegetables, photography, canning, quilt making, all sorts of stuff. And if you go to their website, and look under the competitions, um, all the all the vegetable related stuff is under the horticulture category. So if you look there, if you have any giant pumpkins growing, you would have to have started those already. But just a lot of really interesting stuff. And if you're a senior, you only have to take two of each thing, and they count seniors as 60 and over. So, a lot of different places have different ages they count as seniors. So, hey, next year I'll be able to do it. Can't this year. Um, Also, if you're gonna enter the competitions, for each type of vegetable, you have to bring a different number of that thing, and it lists that under the horticulture category. So you can see those really easy. And I will tell you, in some of the categories, not very many people enter. Just make sure what you're entering fits what it's supposed to be. Like if it's supposed to be a um, southern long bean, in the pod, that's what you take. So make sure you're taking what they're asking for. That's the big thing. And okay, this is sort of a long-term wish that I'm actually getting, and I didn't really expect it. I was actually given a start of a Carolina rose about 2 years ago, and I was going to give the whole thing to Brian, but I'm noticing this has set some really nice rose hips. And one of the things I personally really enjoy getting from my garden is ingredients to make tea from, to make herbal teas, or they also call them tisanes or water extractions on herbal teas. And rose hips are a really nice addition to teas. They add a nice citrusy, but it's got its own flavor. And so I'm excited about this. So Brian, you might just get a start of this plant. And you can see I'm also having that three-seated Mercury in this area. So you can see those plants pop up a lot of places. This is actually an elderberry I need to plant this fall. Okay, I just happened to, as I was out in the garden this morning, I happened to see this little guy flying around. This is a lacewing, and they are just a wonderful beneficial insect. Um, and they're pretty small. He's probably less than an inch total. And their larvae are voracious eaters of aphids. They're called ant lions. And they look like little caterpillar things. If you're familiar with what ladybug larvae look like, they are similar but have bigger heads than ladybug larvae. But they're voracious aphid eaters. and they're really cool. Their eggs are actually on little stalks. So you'll see a row of stalks with little white eggs on them. And they do that because they're cannibalistic. So it actually helps them as they hatch to be separated a little bit so that the lacewing larvae don't eat each other. Okay, this is just a container I have planted. It's sort of an arrangement I do a lot, though the tall plant isn't always what's in there is the tall plant. Sometimes I'll have an ornamental grass, but this is actually a Treasure Island sweet potato. So it should be a nice edible sweet potato in addition to be beautiful. I've got lantana, and this is a um, zinger hibiscus, well, the kind of hibiscus, roselle, that's what it's called. Roselle hibiscus. And it's supposed to be a northern adapted one, so it's supposed to flower earlier than a lot of them. I might have it in a bad location for that, but I'm looking forward to getting some tea ingredients from that too. Um, so I'll keep you all posted. I'm not even seeing flower buds on it, so I'm not sure if it's going to do that this year. Let's see. Oh, another fun thing. This is a surprise lily. It's in the amaryllis family. And the interesting thing about that is in the early spring, it puts up a whole bunch of leaves that are rounded at the tops, at the tips of the leaves instead of being pointed. And then those leaves die down completely for a couple of months. And then it pops up this beautiful flower bud. And so that's why it's called a surprise lily. Another name for it is naked ladies. And so they're a traditional pass along plant. They do tend to multiply, and so people will give them away. But I'm always really happy to see my surprise lilies pop up. Another one that's got a similar pattern is the red spider lilies. And they'll be popping up. Oh, okay. I was leaving the grocery store and my daughter looked over and it's like, there's a moth. And so it's called an imperial moth. And it's a big one. This shows you the size of it. This particular one had apparently been attacked by a bird or something. That's a wound on it. And it was moving, but barely. But most moths, all they do in the adult form is they find a mate and they make babies. But just a beautiful big moth. And this was a surprise that happened with one of the folks that I work with. Um, she opened up her watermelon and it was yellow inside. They did have a little label on it that said yellow watermelon. And so if you don't know, watermelons come in different colors. You have the usual red. Let me zoom in on this screenshot I took. But there's also orange and yellow. And there are some that are more red or more pink. And they are actually getting into stores now. People are interested. And so you can make a multicolored watermelon salad, watermelon bowl. And that is the end of the slideshow. I think we've had a pretty long one today. So do you all have any questions, the folks that are out there? Questions, comments, anything you want us to talk about? Because we can talk gardening. Because if you don't have any questions, we'll talk amongst ourselves and, have plenty. Okay.
Miss Amy.
Yes.
One of the things I wrote about last night on our welcome post was adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
So plants, if you're going to move them from one place to another, You just don't want to shove them in the new place right there and leave them alone right there.
Right.
It helps greatly to adapt them to the new location, but put them back for about a week, 2 weeks.
That is good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that's really helped my gardening, and I'm a little confused because I saw a notification that some folks had commented on our live video. Oh, must have been a previous one. Okay, that makes sense now. Because that was 10 hours ago. That would have been a previous one. I was like, I'm not seeing the comment. But it was a different one. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, I'm back with my brain is back with you. Okay, so Brian, what were you saying? Because I sort of lost
Oh,
my train
just
of
that
thought.
some of the things that we've been terminologies that we use rather flippantly, but
Mhm.
don't take very seriously. One of the things I talked about last night was about native. Okay, just
Mhm.
there's no such thing as native to East Tennessee,
Right.
uh, uh, except for maybe the temperature range, but
Mhm.
because of all the hills and valleys and everything else we got right here, some plants do better in one side or one location and not another. The other thing I brought up was microclimates,
Yeah.
and something like this right here. This is there's no hard fast rule on a map that shows you where the various microclimates are, because one side of your house is one microclimate, the other side is a different microclimate.
Mhm.
So if you put a plant in one location and it is definitely not happy, after you do a little bit of research and find out
Yeah.
what it prefers, you can move that and you'll be amazed the difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, what is it? There is one service that does show like where plants have been historically found.
Right.
They show it by county. What is that called?
Oh,
I can't remember what it is.
by county. Oh.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. And you can look up different plants and oh, I can't remember what it is.
that
Um,
would be interesting there.
yeah, I guess Lee had to leave us. I knew she had to leave early because she would probably know. Um,
Um,
but there is a place where you can look up native plants.
I'll do some Googling.
It's not just native plants, and it's a federal thing, and hopefully they're still around. Um,
And
something. Go
For
ahead.
Tennessee,
yeah,
for Tennessee, there's a definitive book about native plants of Tennessee by Margie Hunter, that's
yeah.
published by the UT Press, which is an incredible guide. And she did
Hmm.
study county by county, and she highlights the native plants that do well that have ornamental values. But that's a book to
Yeah.
look for at your library if it interests you.
Let's see. Let me look because I know where I can find it. Um,
Um, while you're doing that, Miss Amy, I would want to bring up. I've been preaching this for some time now. I'm trying to discourage people from doing a search on the internet by leaving the suffix open. In other
yeah.
words, care for hibiscus, and then hit enter. uh,
Hmm.
and get a whole world of comments and posts and sales and everything else. And I'm trying to encourage people that if they use keywords, care for, I say hibiscus, just for as an example right there, but ended with dot extension or dot
Okay.
edu. You'll get a lot more information that you need.
Amy,
Okay.
the Biota of North America program.
Yes, that's
Okay,
it.
okay, I'm going to post
And
a link to it.
yeah, and so I got a security alert on their homepage, but on their So you might have to do a little bit of looking. I'm going to put in there, this is their plant page, and you do need to look up the binomial name of what your plant is. That's the scientific name, to see what it is, and it is a few years old. But if I look up, I think there was a way to do it different, do it by a different search, um, but you don't have to have the scientific name.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know it. One of the interesting things about it, let's see, I'm going to see if I can find this and then I'll share my screen. One of the common ones we talk about is echinacea. And how do you spell echinacea? There's echinacea. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you'll see what this looks like. Okay, so there's what it looks like. So it's showing these different echinaceas. That's the coneflower family. And so if I click into, let me find Echinacea purpurea, which is one. And so the dark green is where it's native. And I think the light green is where it's been introduced. So each color has a different meaning, and they do have a key on there. You just can't see it on this screen. So let me go back to the last page. And color map key. So this is the key to the colors. And so the dark green means it's present in the state and native. The light green means it's present and not rare, but not necessarily native. The yellow means the species is present and rare. So there's different color codes for different things. And so if you're trying to figure out if a plant is native to your area, it can be really helpful. Let me find, let's see, they don't have Tennessee incense listed. So that looks like as far as that goes. There is a possibility, see, there's another, nope, it's not in this other Eka species. So, it does give you information, and it is on the county level, but it is a few years old. So let's see what this one says. And I think you can click on, no, there's another place where there is another website where you can click down to the county level. But this one doesn't seem to be doing that, or it might have some different ones that you can drill down that deep. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. What is it? I'm glad our weather has moderated a little bit. You'll probably see some of your plants doing a second flush, which is always nice. Is there anything? Okay, so we had a guy going around in our neighborhood who was advertising that he does aeration and stuff like that. Um, Brian, when is the time for people to really, do that kind of thing on
Yeah,
their
in
lawns?
spring. If it's never been done, it's probably best to do them spring and in the fall. But if
Mm-hmm,
it's been done before, I want to say within the last 3 years,
mm-hmm.
spring is a good time.
Okay.
Uh, well, let's see.
So
I
it's
need to
never
look
been
up.
done. You want to get on the schedule with someone,
Right.
potentially.
Yeah. you can do it at spring or fall,
Okay.
either one, because you're not cutting out anything. You're just
Mm-hmm.
I want to say piercing the soil right here to get water, air, and
Uh-huh.
nutrients down into the root system right there. Yeah,
Okay. And then if you are going to, what kind of lawn care would someone be wanting to plan for this fall?
fescues.
Huh?
Uh, your various cool season turf grasses. It does a good idea, like you're asking about right now, to aerate your soil, and at the same time aerating, or within the same period, uh, to reseed.
Hmm.
And there are rental machines that will do both at the same time,
Okay.
and that is a good thing right there, because we're doing the aeration that we need. We're also getting it also forces the seed into the soil, not necessarily down inside right there, but at least
Mm-hmm.
contact with the soil. If you throw seed out and you don't push it down either with a metal roller or with aerator or something else right here, that seed is allowed to get wet just for a little bit and then dry out. It's gone. It's
Oh,
no
that's not
good.
good. Yeah.
Right.
So would you do it now or when would you want to do that?
I would wait at least till the end of this month or next month.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I've heard like mid-September to mid-October is like the
That's a
best.
good one. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the reason I'm uh with weather being funny like it is right here,
Hmm.
uh when we are comfortable outside working in the yard, that's an excellent time to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and we should get, what is it? I have noticed, okay, the fair is that first full week of September,
Yeah.
and usually the first week of the fair, weekend of the fair, it's really hot, and by the second weekend of the fair, I want a jacket.
Yep.
You know, and that's happened. So I guess I've done the fair maybe 5 years with the master gardener, so I've been there, a lot of the days, and that seems to happen more years than it doesn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
I, of course, our care building, the one I work in, and
Yeah.
I'm there for the whole thing. And
Hmm.
I've been there for more than 10 years,
Right.
myself. Um, but we have these big industrial fans,
Hmm.
Yeah.
so that's really necessary
Yeah.
during some of those days. But like you just said, there are days when
Hmm.
I would at least bring a jacket, whether
Yeah.
you actually need it or not. I would bring it just to be
Hmm.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's not that first weekend usually. It's that
right.
second weekend.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll have good weather. Oh, no, today, there is the Knoxville Neighborhood Resource Fair. It actually changed locations. It was going to be at the Jacob Building, but is now at the World's Fair site. So if you're interested, let me look up exactly where that is. And it's
Th-
just got a way to access a lot of different resources in Knoxville. But we do have a Knox County Master Gardener table there.
It's from 9 to 1 today.
Okay, did you find the new address?
Uh, what I see was at the World's Fair site, I thought.
That's
World's
that.
Fair Exhibition Hall.
The exhibition
Okay,
hall
that's
at the World's
the
Fair site.
convention center.
Yeah. So they just moved that with, in the past week or so. I don't know if there's, what is it, issues at Jacob Building. I don't know what's going on that caused them to change that. But so if you're interested in the Knoxville Neighborhood Fair, um, it's probably too late to register for it because that's happening today. Um, but there's a lot of interesting resources. It is free admission, if I understand right. And there were door prizes and stuff you could get, if you signed up.
More
you
than
register
90
for it.
government agencies and departments and nonprofits exhibiting.
Yeah, a lot of nonprofits. That's why Knox County Master Gardeners is there, because we are a nonprofit that's really active in our community. And then next weekend is going to be the Hummingbird Fest at Imes Nature Center.
That's
And
always a lot of fun.
yeah, and I will actually be there, and Lee will be hosting the meeting here.
When is the Tennessee Smart Yard Festival?
That the Tennessee Smart Yards and Friends Festival is going to be the end of September this year. I
Okay.
think it's the 20 something.
Yeah.
Um, Now, if you're
I'm
doing
gonna be there.
Hummingbird Fest starts early, um, but there's a lot going on there, and I'm trying to find the listing for it, unless Margot has beat me to that
Adding
one.
a link to it.
Okay, you found the link to it.
Yeah, and are you talking about the time that it's happening in
No,
terms
I'm
of,
talking about their page listing for it.
yeah, I think I've got that at IME Center.
Okay, good. Yeah, Imes Nature Center, because that is a really cool event. There's going to be a lot of interesting vendors there and a lot of nonprofits that what is it? Their work is on the same line as Imes, which is helping our environment. What is it? If you come, be sure to say hi, um, and come to our Master Gardener table and check out some of the other organizations that'll be there. I'm sure Native Plant Rescue, UT Gardens usually has a table there, and other really cool organizations. So those are coming up in the next week. Also, farmers markets are in full swing. Um,
Yes.
how, how is the corn stock there?
Oh, they got at least two vendors with their trucks full of corn, but they're gonna go fast.
Okay, be sure to tell Davis to save me some corn.
Okay, I'll do that as soon
Remind
as we
him. I
get done
asked him
here.
last week. I do
Yeah.
good. I do. Dixie Lee Farmers Market is the market I shop at, and it's really close to my house. So I actually go after we're done with this show. Um, but there's also Market Square Farmers Market today. You have Oak Ridge Farmers Market, and I think there's also one in Maryville, and there's other different farmers markets through the week. That there's that website. Is it Shop
Nourish,
Tennessee
is it?
Products?
Oh, Pick Tennessee
Big
products?
Tennessee Products. Yeah, and that's a good place to find listings of the different farmers markets.
I'll post a link.
So I would confirm, I know when I looked last, they didn't have the Pavilion Farmers Market, which is a new one this year, which which is on Hardin Valley Road. But they have the Hardin Valley Farmers Market, which is no longer operating. So I would just double check and make sure.
That's the Pavilion Event Center,
Yeah, it's
and we call it Pavilion Farmers Market on Thursday evenings.
right, and that's on Hardin Valley Road.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, off of, but yes,
just off of Hardin Valley. It
right.
is pretty easy to find information about that.
Yeah.
I think there is probably a Facebook group about it, if I know the folks who are organizing that.
And guys, we're at top of the hour. It's
We're at
almost
the
time for
top
you
of
to
the
go to the
hour.
farmer's market, Amy.
Okay, let me find Pavilion Farmers Market, and I'll post that. I'll make sure it's the right one,
It's
because we don't want a
20.
Pavilion Farmers Market that's what is it, 1,000 miles away from
Yeah,
us.
too far to drive.
Yeah, so there's the
They,
Facebook listing for the Pavilion Farmers Market. And so, what is it? It is 10 o'clock now. We've really enjoyed talking to you all, and hope you have a great time in your garden this week and enjoy everything that's coming out of it. Happy gardening, everyone, and we will connect with you next week. Bye, everyone.